Hey, you sang, hey everybody. So, welcome. You sang Lee, who's with Shindig, says to me, we're private chatting a little bit before the event starts. He says, wow, a lot of these people have their webcam turned on. And I said, well, yeah, you don't know who these people are. These people are egomaniacs, they're speakers, they're consultants, they're experts, they're authors. So there's a rock star audience here. I am humbled by all the fabulous people that are here, and you can sort of see each other in here. There's a couple of gray blobs as well, and that's okay. If you're not an egomaniac like the rest of us and you want to stay undercover, that's cool. But I told you, saying, don't be surprised. These guys, when we bring them up on stage, we have our little videos side by side. They may even take over the event, and then I'll just pop down to the audience and I'll sit and I'll ask questions and I'll be a good audience member for you. So this is a very cool event on a couple of levels. Number one, I do minimal, and I mean minimal talking, and I want to do maximal. That's a new word, maximal. I want to do maximal interaction with each of you coming up on stage, hot seats, masterminding, whatever it might be, whatever you're working on, whether it's marketing focused, sales focused, business development, we're going to talk about it in the next 57 minutes. And I'm very excited. And not only do you have the opportunity to buy the book, which is here, there, somewhere in the corner, but giveaways, book giveaways. You can win one of these. It's going to be your choice, because I do this next thing a lot. When we talk about something and I get especially excited, I'm going to go like this. Oh my goodness, it's in the book. Come on, read the book. And then it's going to be your choice whether the book that I mail to you has sort of like the head grease on it or not. You can say, get me a clean book, or you can say, get me a book that you've already whacked your head and it's got my DNA on it. So where else do you get that? Where else do you get that? No place else. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So the theme for today is marketing for smart people. And the good news is we have a ton of smart people in the audience right here. And I'm going to give a couple shout outs, and we'll do a couple of fun things here throughout. But thought leadership marketing, I was just saying, I had a media interview with a radio station earlier this morning. And it's always interesting to see, these guys, they do no preparation. God love them. They do no preparation. They maybe flip through the contents, the table of contents of your book, and they pick out 2 or 3 things to ask you a question about. The interviewer today had two things that caught his attention, and then figure out how you guys are using those 2 things and what questions you may have on how you can use those 2 things better. The first thing he asked me, and the first thing that a lot of people are kind of liking in the book, is this concept of the attention economy. And people say, well, that sounds kind of cool. What is the attention economy? And those of you guys that have heard me speak or heard me present at chapter program, national meeting, whatever it might be, you've heard me say this in my program, that it's about first you earn their attention, and then you have the chance to earn it. But it doesn't go the other way. So how do you earn attention? One of the ways that you earn attention is by adding value. And value to me is a combination of unique insights and relevance. So you can be the most uniquely insightful, wonderful, amazing person. If you're not connecting with a specific set of buyers, a specific set of people who have certain urgent, pervasive, expensive problems, doesn't matter how high value you are, if the relevance is low, you're not going to get their attention. If the relevance is high, but you're adding value, you're not making their lives better, you're not making their businesses better, you're not giving them advice, insights, recommendations, opinions, thoughts, resources that can help them personally, help them professionally, it doesn't matter how much you've decoded that target market, how much you understand the way they think. If you're not giving them the relevance, again, you're not going to get their attention. So we're living in an attention economy. And the mantra is, first you earn their attention, then you have the chance to earn their money. The second concept that's getting a lot of book, I'm not sure if it's because just, it sounds clever, it sounds like a little trademarked phrase, is this concept I talk about called 3PR. 3PR. 3PR is personalized professional public relations. And there's 3 legs to a 3PR campaign. And I know, just looking at the smiling faces here in the group, that some of you guys are masterful at doing this. And for some newer people, this might be an update. So 3PR, personalized professional public relations, is a 3-legged stool. Leg number 1 is publishing. And publishing could be your e-zine, your blog, your social media postings, your newsletter, your articles, your books. Ultimately, of course, the ultimate publishing strategy, of course, is a book around your expertise, focused on your business. But so there's the publishing leg. The second leg of a 3PR strategy for any entrepreneur, for any executive, is public speaking. So public speaking, sharing your expertise with the target market. This can start local, this can start grassroots. It could be Kiwanis, it could be Lions Club, Rotary, it could be talking to your local chamber, it could be talking to your local trade and profession. It could be even elevating up to the level of a paid professional speaker, which again, I know we have some of you in the room here with us, some of us, doing this both as a revenue generator with speaking and as a lead generator with our speaking. So that's awesome. And then the third leg, the final leg of a 3PR campaign is social media. So how do you spread the message? How do you offer and invite? And when I say offer and invite, offer value, invite engagement. Offer value, invite engagement. Some people have a struggle with marketing and they don't like the word marketing and they really selling, or they hate the word selling. I would say let's replace both those words. Your main job as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an executive, as any kind of thought leader, your main job is only 2 things. It's offer value to your target market and invite engagement. Invite them into your world, invite them into your empire. Some of those invitations might be free, like your blog, like your newsletter, like your virtual events, like your shindigs, for example. Some of them might be paid. So pay me to come in and speak, pay me to come in and keynote, pay me to do a seminar, pay me to come in and do some training or consulting, professional services, pay me for my time and talent, pay me for my deliverable goods, services, and products. But again, you're not going to get to that point unless you've first given a ton of value for free. The way that you demonstrate that is by building a platform around those 3 PR strategies. And again, the 3 PR strategies are publishing, speaking, and social media. So with that, you saying, let's open this up to questions. I've blabbed on for 9 by 11 minutes here. Let's do some Q&A. I see some friendly faces here. Who's got a question? Who would like to do kind of a one-quick hot seat? What are you working on? How can I help?
Hey, David. Shel Horowitz said, one more for your list. I'd add a 4th, traditional publicity. What do you think about that?
I like traditional publicity. I mean, it can be a tough nut to crack, and you're not always in control of traditional publicity, whereas you are in full control of your publishing, you're in full control of your speaking, and you're in full control of your social media. Publicity, if you have the right skills, the right talents, and/or the right team that you've partnered or delegated, course, I think publicity and press releases and press relations, that's the key thing these days. You have to build relationships with journalists and editors and publishers of these targeted niche publications that you want to get into. If you do that, it's awesome. If you're doing spray and pray, kind of old school press release, and kind of one way, kind of batch and blast aggregator press releases, that's less effective. Great question, though.
Great. John asks, how can you gain the there's a title here. How can you gain your target market's attention before you can actually sell?
Well, that's everything we've been talking about. I mean, that's what you publish, that's where you go to speak, that's how you engage on social media. And you know, the whole thing around engagement, people say, well, what does that mean? That seems to be a buzzword about engagement. And really, it's about adding value and opening up a two-way conversation. So you can be engaging on Twitter, you can be engaging on LinkedIn, you can be engaging on your own website, you can be engaging through video, you can be engaging through sessions like this, like big virtual events. You can just engage people. You know, your job is to build a tent and then to invite people under the tent for free to experience and to sample your expertise. Then you earn the right, possibly, to have a marketing conversation or a sales conversation if it's the right time, if it's the right person, if it's the right situation.
Excellent. And speaking of engagement on Shindig, I urge you guys, if you want to come up on stage and just like I am right now with some of your questions or your own opinions, click on the raise hand and I'll be able to bring you up.
Or if you want to win a book, and you got to be brave and you got to come up here with me and let's have a little one-on-one. And if you already have the book, they make great gifts and they freeze really well and they taste delicious.
Great. So Mark has raised his hand, so I'm going to bring him up. Mark, you're coming up.
Mark Wolfsfeld in the empty chair. There he is. How are you, sir? Good to see you. I can't hear you. Is your microphone turned on? Are you plugged into audio, or maybe it's me? See that? This is live. I mean, I had to shave for this. I had to get ready. I had to put clothes on. I got to plug in my microphone. This was a lot of work today, my friends. This wasn't like just some walk in the park. You saying, can you? Oh, here we go. Testing, testing. We're not going to mention that Mark is a technology expert. What's up, buddy? Still can't hear. Was that a problem on Mark's end, perhaps? Yeah.
It may be something as simple as changing the setting. Mark, if you're hearing me right now, just hover your mouse over your itch and you should see a settings tab. David mentioned that you're a technology expert, and if you click on the settings tab, you can get to the microphone settings and see which input works for you. But Steve has asked a question on the topic of marketing, budget, and media. As consultancy grows, how should marketing dollars be allocated? Also, online marketing media works best. Website, social media, etc. I think he was saying also which online marketing media works best.
Well, so I'm going to give you the consultant answer, and the consultant answer, and all of you consultants know what the consultant answer is. It depends. It depends. So, you know, the first question is, where are your buyers? Where are your buyers paying attention? What channels do your buyers pay attention to? So if you're in a business-to-business setting, I would much rather have you be on LinkedIn. If you're in a business-to-consumer setting, I would much rather have you be on Facebook. Not for any other reason that research, tons of research shows that primarily business-to-business buyers, executives, and decision makers focus their time on LinkedIn, whereas average consumers, homeowners who looking to buy Coca-Cola and detergent and cars and pizza are on Facebook. Now, is there some overlap? Of course there is. But where you should focus is where the of your buyers, and of course it breaks down even more specifically. If you're going after dentists, you're going after bankers, you're going after consultants, you're going after landscape architects, it's going to be a whole different mix. You got to know your people. And so one of the things we talk about in the book is buyer persona marketing, and you have to know who you're marketing to not only what the messages should be that would resonate with them, but what are the channels that they pay attention to and that they engage with. Otherwise, you'd be like ships passing in the night. And then the budget question also depends. I mean, the budget question these days, with so many platforms available to us for very little money or practically free, and many are free, it's more a question of where do you spend your time, attention, and energy. Budget is, there's very little marketing that you have to do as a small and solo business owner that costs money, at least in professional services. If you're running a restaurant, if you're running a retail operation, that's a whole different ballgame. But most professional service providers, which is the people that I work with primarily, marketing is free dollars-wise, and it's expensive as far as time and effort and creativity and your mental investment, bandwidth investment.
That's a great way to segue into the next question here. Teresa's asking, they say the best things in life are free. What are your favorite free resources for growing your business? The best free resources? Is that the question?
Yes. Okay.
What are your favorite free resources for growing your business?
Tremendous. Well, I think blogging is the centerpiece. And blogging, aside from what you pay for hosting, what you pay for your website, blogging is key. Now, again, there are 10 marketing strategies. There's 5 outbound strategies, online and offline, and there's 5 inbound strategies, online and offline. And we'll talk about those in the book, and I've talked about those in my seminars, and blah, 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 blah. But so my first recommendation, even before we talk about what's free and what's great for me is going to be different than what's free and what's great for you. So if you love writing, then you want to use some of the free writing strategies, like I mentioned blogging, like I mentioned articles. That's all free. Now, if you're not a writer or you hate writing, then don't listen to my advice. Don't do that. If you love video, use video strategies. If you love the internet, use internet strategies. If you love in-person, then use in-person strategies. If you love, for example, networking, and you love going out and meeting new people and pressing the flesh and shaking hands and kissing babies, and that's really your gift, that's really your strength, then use in-person networking strategies. But I'm very reluctant to say, oh, well, here's the 3 things that work, because the 3 things that work from my perspective are the 3 things that will work for me. And you don't want the David Newman marketing plan, you want the you marketing plan. So figure out what works for you, and then there's a ton of free things. If you love video, there's YouTube, there's Vimeo, there's Shindig, obviously, if you love video. If you love audio, there's podcasting, there's audio interviews, there's interviewing other experts, interviewing prospects, interviewing potential clients about what they're going through the phone, on your blog, written, whatever it might be. There's a ton of strategies, most of which are free. My main point is worry about free versus paid. Worry about what do you love to do. Because if your marketing isn't easy, effortless, and enjoyable, you're not going to do it. And I could sit here and prescribe a whole bunch of strategies. You go, oh, I hate doing that. And, oh, boy, I really hate this one. And, gee, I really hate that one. Is that really what I have to do? Guess how effective you're going to be? Not very effective. So let's give away a book. Let's give away a book. And so let's bring someone up, and the next person who's brave enough to come up here and do a hot seat will win a free book, either for you or for your best friend or for your dog or whoever.
All right, we have a raised hand. So actually, we got a lot of people who want a free book. I'm going to go in the order in the way the hands are raised. So I'll bring the first guest up.
There he is. Testing, testing. Again, not hearing. But it's Alan, and Alan gets a free book. I don't even care if I can hear you. Alan just gets the free book. So I'm writing down Alan. There you go. Free book. If you have a question, we can solve the technology issue. That's awesome. You're getting the free book, my friend, anyway. Can't hear Alan, but you know what? He gets a free book. He gets a free book. You sang. He gets a free book. We couldn't hear a damn word that he said. Doesn't even matter. So, Alan, email me, david@doitmarketing.com. I'll put the free book in the mail. Let me know if you want a clean one or scalp oil. They're both free. There's no surcharge.
I'll also provide you with the email that Alan signed in with, and we have a couple of raised hands right now. I'll be bringing you up. However, if you come up and you see that your microphone is not working, our best advice right now would be to hover your mouse over your image, go on your settings, and click on the microphone tab. There you'll see the different types of inputs. It may just be that you're on input, and you can test out each input to see which one is actually picking up the sound. Once you find that one, you click on done, and you should be good to go. There's a couple more people with their hands raised. Should I bring them up, David, or what would you prefer?
Let's do it. Yes, let's do it. Excited. I'm excited. Right. Who else wants to come up here?
Diona had her hand raised next. So, Diona, you're coming up.
Can you hear me?
Yes! Oh my gosh, that's awesome!
David.
There you are.
Hi, I saw you in Chicago. It's great to see you again.
Oh, good.
So,
thank you.
So my question is, with generating an audience, as far as letters, with blogging, without kind of sending out too much messaging to them. You want to have contact, you want to engage them, you want to invite. How much is too much when you're engaging your audience?
Fantastic question, and you win a book, so that's awesome. And I will answer the question. Now, remember, Alan won a book a second ago, and I did this. This is his book. I'm putting this down over here. Your book is totally pristine and clean. And so you let me know later if you want any kind of head-banging DNA. I just want to make sure that we're not all getting like the head schmutz. Okay, so how much is too much? This depends on two key factors. It depends on relevance and it depends on value. In my opinion, and other experts, Steve Asha may disagree here. I'd love to hear from Steve on this. Beth Corhan was here. My buddy Steve Iverson is here. You guys all, I'm sure, have some opinions on this as well. I don't think that you can give too much high-value, high-content information. Needs to be mixed in and integrated, hopefully seamlessly, with a couple of offers and a couple of investable opportunities that you're putting in front of people. But if you make it seamless, then all of a sudden people say, well, I can get this for free, and then if I want to go further with it or deeper with it, or I want to really bring this person into my company, bring this person into my personal life or professional life, I can hire them for X, Y, and Z. So here's the bar that I like to set. Think of yourself in the restaurant business. Clients, as paying clients, they get a beautiful 7-course meal. Even the people that don't buy from you, however, should get a happy meal so that nobody leaves hungry. Even if I never buy from you, I want to be glad that you're in my inbox. I want to be glad that I follow your blog. I want to get value from your email newsletter. I want to engage with you on social media and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. I want you to be a pointer out of cool things. I want you to be a curator. I want you to be a problem solver. And then I know that if I hire you, or if I bring on, wow, imagine if she gave this much value for free, imagine what I would get if I became a client, and imagine how awesome that would be. So can you do that too often? My feeling would be no. If you send one spam email a month, that's too frequent. That's too much. because that's all about me, and here's what I'm doing, and here's my awards that I've won, and here's my event, here's my book, here's my program, here's my product, here's my service. Like, wow, dude, enough already. And you know, we all toe that line. We all toe that line where we try and give value, but there's more if you're interested. You know, give 80%, and then the offers and the other things would be 20%. So my recipe is 80-20 as blend. 80% give unconditionally, 20% give with some sort of offer or next step available.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being up here, and thank you for winning a book. All right. That was fantastic.
Hey, David. So we have some written questions, but we have a ton of raised hands. One of this written question, and then I'm just going to start rapid firing people up. There's Mark, there's Dave Rodwell, Alan again, Mike, and Steve Cosia. They're all raising their hands, so I'm going to start bringing them up.
Perfect.
But before I do that, Robert asked a question on niches. What's the best way to market to individual, different, and diverse niches?
That's a trick question. What's the best way to ride a unicycle? It's hard. It's hard to market to multiple niches all at the same time. So, piece of advice. I know it's not the question that you answered, but as a consultant, as a marketing coach, I'm pretty good at answering questions that you didn't ask. I would try and focus on a tightly aligned group of related niches. I would not try and go after the architects and the bakers and the candlestick makers and the book publishers and the professional speakers. Now, what would make sense is what my friend Steve Kasha does, who's a customer service expert initially in the HVAC industry, but then he said, well, who else needs this? Who else are some of the trade professions? Could electricians use this? Could plumbers use this? Could some of the other skilled tradespeople use this? And the answer is yes. And so Steve has built an empire with a couple of very tightly aligned, very well-focused niches. Here's the other advice I would give you. As soon as you start to explore one particular vertical industry niche, you will start to realize how vast it is, how huge it is, how many meetings they have, how many publications they have, how many professional associations they have, how many individual members of that profession or business owners or executives or whatever it is. You know, if you say, I'm doing communication skills for the engineering industry, and every engineer needs my communication skills program, or every engineer needs my particular kind of software, every engineer needs my kind of widget, whatever it is, and you start to study the engineering industry, you'll realize that there are more opportunities in that one industry than you can ever hope to even approach 1% in your entire lifetime. There's billions and billions of dollars, whatever. There's billions and billions of dollars of opportunity in any one of these vertical markets. So here's your challenge. And I talk about this in the book. I have to say that because I'm an author. I talk about this in my book. But I do. It's about depth with variety. And how do you build an empire? How do you build your entrepreneurial menu so that you have depth within one industry, within one area of expertise, and a variety of investable opportunities on your menu, from small to medium to large to supersize. So I wouldn't even try and go after multiple niches all at once. All that leads to is frustration and lack of traction, and you don't get passed around like candy. So I love you, but don't do it.
Okay, Earl Sky asked a question before. I think he got disconnected, and he came back on and asked this question again. So let's address this question, and then I'll be rapid firing the people who have their hands raised. Earl Sky asked a question on the topic of marketing to large companies. I teach public speaking. How do I reach the decision maker? Human resources is a waste of time. How?
Yeah, well, so you've won half Earl. And by the way, thank you for being on the call. And Earl is up from Canada, and I love Earl, and we've done some, we've had dinner together, I think, at least on a couple occasions through our Canadian friendship. The best way to reach a corporate decision maker is as a peer, as an expert, as a researcher, as a journalist, as someone who is a thought leader. One of the easiest ways, and I lay this out in granular detail in the book, again, have to say that because number one, it's true, and number two, I have to say it, is the interview strategy. How can you, so make a hit list, make a target. Here are the 20 biggest companies that I want to do business with. And you're totally right, it's not HR. HR is a giant waste of time. You're after a senior executive, C-level person, vice president, whoever it might be. How can you approach them and say, I'm writing a book, I'm writing an article, I'm doing some research for our trade association. I'd love to get 15 minutes on your calendar so I can understand how you're having success with this topic. So if it's public speaking, right, say 10 strategies that top leaders, smart companies are using to leverage public speaking to grow their company's image or profile, right? And so you have an embedded complement in the title of the article. Now, so who wouldn't want to be part of that? How 10 strategies of how top leaders at smart companies are maximizing public speaking to build their profile, raise their profile, etc. It's an embedded complement. When you call that executive, when you call that corporate communications department and you ask for the interview, they'll say, hey, Earl, what is it you're working on? And you say, well, I've got this great article together for our National Association of blah, 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 whatever it might be, whatever the trade association is that they would belong to. And the title is, and the title has this embedded complement, you're in. And now you have a personal peer-to-peer expert relationship with that person. Are you prospecting and selling right then and there? You are not. What you're doing is you're building trust, you're building credibility, you're building that peer-to-peer relationship so that, number one, the next time you email them, they recognize and look forward to getting your email. Number two, when you call, the instruction to the admin person or the screener is, oh, if he calls back about the article, please let them through. That's important. We talked about some good stuff. That's one of about a dozen strategies that you can use for thought leadership marketing, getting right to the decision maker, no gatekeeper, no screener, no BS, and it's a direct access strategy. So do that, and that's $1 million idea right there. Don't even buy the book. Don't even get the book. Forget the book. Just do what I just said, and you'll be a millionaire the next time we have dinner.
Great. All right. So we're going to go down the line and start bringing some of these people with their raised hands up. Hopefully, I have my finger crossed. Microphones will be working this time around.
Mark Wolfsfeld. Still can't hear. Not sure what's going on. Not coming through, my friend. Sorry about that. I'm going to send you an extra book anyway. I think I mentioned that already. So Mark doesn't get 2 books for coming up, but he gets for being a good sport and for the effort. All right. Dave Rodwell! Man, Canada representing. Can I hear you, though? Dave Rodwell is up. Say something, Dave. Wow, we're having all kinds of audio problems. Are you plugged in? Are you off mute? So far, Diona wins the technology award for having figured out the microphone piece. Still not happening. Sorry about that. Dave also gets a book. I'm sending Dave a book. That's extra postage to Canada. It's extra postage for Dave Rodwell. He's still getting a book. Awesome. Alan's back. Wow. This is problematic. I apologize, my friends. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if everyone is muted. I think Diona had this loss, whatever that was, so maybe we'll send her 2 books. Mike, talk to me.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Amazingly enough, I can. You're awesome.
No? Hold on. How about now?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. All right. How are you?
I'm great. Good to be talking to you.
Good. Good. Listen, same here. Same here. And I understand, by the way, you're going to be visiting us in Orlando area, Tampa, as one of our guest speakers. And I look forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, my question is really... Thank you. Hey, listen, once a target market has been established, and you really can identify by way of demographics and so forth who you're trying to get your message to, is there a shortcut or a fast and easy way to identify what social media networks they tend to pay attention to? Because the big 4 but social networks, and how do you determine which one you should be on because they're on?
So that's a fabulous question, and the answer, Mike, is really twofold. One is, and this is a shortcut, it's cheating. I hope you're ready. Sit down and write this down. I hope you're sitting down. One way is to ask. Just ask. Say, hey, listen, in the online world, what are some of the blogs that you read? What are some of the social media networks that you engage in? And what are some of the ones that you couldn't care less about? So if you've got friends, if you've got clients, if you've got colleagues, other service providers perhaps that sell into the same marketplace, just ask. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is a little bit of a harder way to do it, is, snoop around and find out. So for example, are there LinkedIn groups that are dedicated to that particular profession or service? Some of my clients, for example, they do a LinkedIn search on the groups and they go, oh my God, there's huge groups. There's 10,000, 20,000 people in these groups of my perfect target market. And so obviously the numbers prove that, yeah, there's some interest. Other surprising, like in the healthcare profession, healthcare, nursing, chief nursing officers. I have a client that's in that world. There's a little bit of presence on LinkedIn, but not much. And she searched high and low, and it wasn't there. And then when she found out, they go, oh yeah, we don't do LinkedIn. And there's some listservs, and there's some forums, and there's some other places that we go. So part of it's asking, and part of it is simply observation and a little bit of kind of hunting around, sniffing around, on-the-ground research you can do. Because if they're there, you'll know it. And if they're not there, you'll know it too. The only mistake people make, Mike, is if they do a little bit of searching and don't dig deep enough, sometimes you'll miss a big pocket. But usually it's pretty obvious. Who's on Facebook, who's got the biggest groups on LinkedIn, what kinds of people have Twitter followers that are significant and relevant. And then obviously, as you say, there's a ton more. Each industry has their own forums, has their own listservs, has their own private groups, has their own web presence and ways that they connect with each other. So number 1, ask. Number 2, a little bit of on-the-ground research, and you'll be in great shape.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet. And Mike, you win a book. You win a book.
All right. Okay.
There you go.
Great. Thank you.
You bet. We're marching across the screen. We're marching across the screen here. We got 2 books here. We got a 3rd book. I got books. I got stacks of books. I'm like Santa Claus on Christmas morning. It's awesome.
All right, Dave. We have a lot more raised hands, and I'm going to address them quickly. But before I do, Steven has chimed in with some useful information. He says, I found that I needed to refresh my mic options in the then select my appropriate mic before hitting done. So if any of you are still facing microphone issues, Steven found that that helped his microphone come through. All right, then moving right along, I'm going to bring Steve up, and we'll go down the line for raised hands, and then we'll address the typed in questions right after.
Awesome.
Steve, you're coming up.
We have
Steve
audio.
Kasha. There you are, buddy. How's it going?
Very well, David. A session here.
Thank
I
you.
love what you're saying about marketing and keeping it about what the clients need. And one item I wanted to add about social proof, because you're the king of getting testimonials. What's always impressed me about what you do is you are courageous enough to ask people, would you write me a testimonial? And so you have many of these. I've learned to do that. I have also been courageous about getting myself photographed with members of the audience or members of the department that I'm working with, because it becomes social proof people can relate to, because I'm learning that people like to see photographs of other people. They will stop and look at photographs of other people. It's amazing how it works at the exhibitions, at our conferences, and on the website, and almost everywhere else.
Yeah, very true. Well, and that's also the beauty of this Shindig video platform. I saw a couple of people chatting with each other, and obviously we're now face-to-face in the virtual world, but I love what you're saying about testimonials, and yes, 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 and amen. I mean, that social proof is so important. You know, one slides when I do this presentation for groups of small business owners, I say it used to be that people bought because they were advertised to. And then we entered the world of the internet, and now people buy because a lot of other people are buying. And then we entered the world of thought leadership, and now people buy from experts. And now with social media and online and offline integration, the new economy, people buy from experts because of their friends. People buy from experts because of their friends. Now, your strategy is brilliant because it demonstrates both teams and it demonstrates your friendships and relationships. So when you have a picture taken with someone, with a client who knows you and loves you and trusted you to come in and do a program, has bought your product, has bought your service, it's a success story, it's a testimonial, it's an Amazon book review, it's a LinkedIn endorsement, or recommendation, I should say. Don't get me started on LinkedIn endorsements, because that's a whole nother hornet's nest. But yes, I mean, that's such a brilliant idea. And it's in a way it's old, but it's everything old is new again. So relationships, everything old is new again, right? The small village that we live in, word gets around, people talk. That's, you know, and so people talk good and people talk bad. But I think the social proof is so powerful because it taps into that dynamic, and people do. People do love seeing people and seeing pictures and photos and video. My friend Jay Baer, who has a fabulous new book, by the way, called Utility, with Y-O-U, Utility. He says, on the internet, text is going away. Text is going away. Everything is moving towards photos and video, including your testimonials, including your offerings for your products and service programs. So I love the social proof. There's nothing more powerful. Love it. Hey, there's Frank. Hey there. Yes, I can hear you. We've solved the technology curse. It's awesome.
Oh, great. David, this is great. I'm coming to you from London now, and I've got a place in Orlando as well, so I'm over there quite often. But the biggest question I get asked by the really big corporates, similar to Mike, is where should they be concentrating their social media strategy? And a lot of them are coming up with things like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook they don't like too much, Twitter. What is your view on that? I'm a big YouTube person. I've got 500 videos on YouTube, so that's my passion.
Well, I think it depends on, again, obviously you love video. That is one of your preferred modes. That also highlights your strengths. So figuring out, and although, you know, these are also interchangeable. So Frank, it's a great question, because let's say that you're the rock star of YouTube, which you are. How else could you spread that for people who don't live on YouTube? Well, there's video blogging. So obviously you highlight those videos as part of your blogging strategy. You can share those videos on your preferred social network where your customers and prospects are. So if it's LinkedIn, maybe there's a video of the day on LinkedIn. Maybe you've started a LinkedIn group, and part of the LinkedIn group is you post a daily video or a daily video question or a daily video thought of the day. You can do the same thing, Facebook, Twitter. So whatever the channel, if you love writing, share the writing content on all the different channels. If you love video, share the video content on all the relevant channels. If you love video and podcasting and expert interviews and audio acrobat and all kinds of fun things like that, share the audio assets. So it's really two great questions. And until you asked this question, Frank, I never even thought of it this way. There is content creation, which is in one channel or one set of channels, and there's content distribution, where you have to meet your prospects and your clients and your customers where they are. So sometimes, even though those videos live on YouTube, depending on who our buyers are and what their preferences are and where they're coming from, they might not spend a second on YouTube, although that's hard. As we all know, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. But still, certain people say, oh, I never go to YouTube. Well, but you've seen all my videos. Why is that? Well, because they're on my LinkedIn. Well, because they're on my blog. Well, because you tweet about them on your Twitter account. I do pay attention to Twitter, and I do like your videos. I just never go to YouTube directly. So I think if you separate the content generation from the distribution platform, that some combination of those two things will be the recipe for success. And as any good marketer will tell you, how do you know? Test, 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 test. And then you'll find out retweeted, rewatched, reviewed, and shared.
Great. Thanks, David.
You bet. Thank you, Frank. And Frank wins the book. Frank also wins the book. And again, it's your choice whether we do, you know, the head bonking version. I'm just going to take the first book. If you want the head bonking version, let me know. If you want the clean version, I understand. That's cool too.
All right, we're winding down on the hour. We have about 10 minutes left, but we do have a lot of written questions. So let's try to get through these as fast as possible.
I'm ready. Lightning round. Popcorn. Also, the way we're doing, I promised people, last quick announcement before we do the popcorn, I promised people Amazon gift cards and Starbucks gift cards. So if you haven't won a book yet, and Yusang's going to share with me the list of people, then you'll be entered into a drawing, totally random drawing, and you may very well get one of the Amazon gift cards or one of the Starbucks gift cards that I have here on my desk somewhere. So don't despair, and we're not going to double up. If you want a book, you don't get the gift card. If you win the gift card, you don't necessarily win the book, and it's fair for everybody. So, lightning round.
All right, Teresa asks, what is one of the most clever, out-of-the-box marketing strategies that you or someone else has used and got good results?
Wow, clever out-of-the-box marketing strategies. Well, let me answer. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say it's not clever, and it's not out of the box, but man, is it effective. And this is a marketing philosophy. It's not a marketing strategy. It's about feature and leverage other people. Shine the spotlight on other people, colleagues, coworkers, clients, customers, partners, co-conspirators, people who are your compadres on the journey. The more that you can be the pointer out of cool things and the pointer out of cool other people, so raise the profile of others, and amazing things will start to happen. So how do you do that? I'll give you a couple examples. Some are big, big giant projects. A couple you can do this afternoon. Just hang up off of this call and boom, boom, boom. So in the book, I wrote this book. There are 14 guest chapters, 14 guest chapters from 14 of the smartest, most wonderful sales, marketing, and social media gurus that I know. I said, hey, I'm writing a book. I'd love to feature your expertise, right? Feature and leverage other people. That's a big picture strategy, is put other people into your book. Short, and if you look at my blog, you can go to doitmarketing.com/blog. You'll see my blog entries all down there. Go back a couple of weeks. I do lists. I do lists of 33 cool people you need to be connected with. I do lists of the 5 best business books. Guess what? Those best business books are written by my friends and my buddies and my fellow and speakers and colleagues. So I'm recommending Jeff Corhan's book, Built-In Social. I'm recommending Joe Calloway's book, Be the Best at What Matters Most. I'm always recommending and referring and promoting other people. So make lists, interview other experts, showcase other people, and that strategy, maybe it is out of the box. I'm not giving myself enough credit. That is an out-of-the-box creative strategy, so forget what I said earlier. The more that you feature and leverage other people, the better. I have a blog post about this if you're interested. If you Google the term, why your business needs to flop, why your business needs to flop, F-L-O-P, it's feature and leverage other people. I've given you a ton of examples and a ton of ways to get started. But that, I would say, in the last 24 months, I've always done it, but in the last 24 months, that one strategy, I would say, has done more than anything else to catapult my success.
Okay, next one, Dave Rodwell, who unfortunately we tried to get up, but the microphone was not working. He says, sorry that voice didn't come through.
No problem.
He still gets the book. He said, sorry my voice didn't come through. My question on your thoughts on internet radio chat shows, kind of like this one, and getting on a guest.
Well, internet radio chat shows, like anything else, like guest blogging or anything else, you need to figure out, does that person have a platform that will magnify and amplify you, right? Because you got to be a little bit selfish when you're doing this. Or is you showing up on their platform more helpful to them than it is helpful to you? Now, I've done both sides of this. I've brought people on with me for interviews and podcasts and teleseminars that have very little following, but I believed in them, I love them, I think they're doing great work, I wanted to showcase their expertise. On the other hand, I've been interviewed by somebody who promised me the moon, and they had one live listener on our teleseminar program that they hosted. And I was kind of kicking myself going, wow, why did I do this? But you know, it's karma. It really is karma. So number one, what goes around comes around, both in the positive sense and in the negative sense. And I figured the more that I give, the more that I help other people, somehow karma out for me. That's happened, very much so. But you know, if you do it strategically, and if I had it to do over again, would I be on the person that has no platform, no audience, did no promotion, and had one listener on the teleseminar that I was featured in? No, I wouldn't do that again because I'm not an idiot. But again, in the spirit of giving, in the spirit of, you know, go where the offers are happening, I tend to take more of those than I reject. But I'm getting more selective, and you should too, Dave Rodwell, you should too. So make sure it's a win-win. Make sure it's mutually beneficial, and that you participating in that online radio show, it helps them, but gosh darn it, it helps you too.
All right. Diane asked, customer communication. In regards to follow-up, is there a line limit in which one should follow up with connections?
Well, it depends on if you mean social media connection follow-up or sales follow-up. Sales follow-up I hate. I absolutely hate sales follow-up, and I've got a blog article about this. It's called Why You're Wasting Your Time Following Up. If you Google why you're wasting your time following up, you'll find it, and you'll see a strategy much better than following up. Social media follow-up, you know, I'm a big believer in some will, some won't, who cares next. So if you're trying to connect with someone on LinkedIn, you've sent them an invite, you've sent them an in-mail, you've done whatever you can, They might not be an active social media user. So, we talked earlier about, some people are on those social media networks, some people have a profile and they're not on for 6 months. So don't get upset, don't waste your time, just move on.
Great. Egomeli Hormeku asked, what's one marketing regret you have?
That I didn't nurture and leverage other people 10 years ago. That I came late to that insight. If I had featured and leveraged other people 10 years ago, I don't know. I think I would be sitting in the office where Yusang is sitting with a multi-million-dollar company, and I'd be interviewing him. How about that?
Great. Moving right on, Stephen asked on the topic of email strategy, you say in the book that email is not a strategy, not a tactic, and not a high payoff activity. How does email fit into your strategy?
Well, there's part of the book you're talking about is doing email, doing personal email inbox, etc. Email marketing is different. Email marketing is not your job either. But imagine if you took all the time that you spend in your inbox, in Outlook, sending, receiving, responding to emails, which we do 4 or 5 hours a day, at least. Some of us do it 8 hours a day or all day long. Imagine taking 50% of that time and putting it towards sales, marketing, and business development. Turning off email, figuring out who do I want to reach, how can I reach them, how can I add maximum value to their world. Maybe do that with a selected email, maybe do it with a blog post, maybe do it with a social media posting. But just get off email. Email is like crack candy. And I'm not even sure if crack candy exists. But if crack candy exists, my friends, it is your email inbox, and you got to get off email, and you got to focus on the business of your business. In the book, I think I talk about make a big poster for your office that says email is not your job. And what else could you be doing to grow your business that doesn't involve being on your email and respond and reply and forward and block your calendar like an appointment, and you'll stop wasting time on email, and you'll get more time for marketing.
Great. So we are winding. Actually, we are at the hour. We can go a little bit over if you don't mind, David.
I am ready. I'm here till 4 o'clock, people. I've blocked the whole day for you.
Okay. So Mark has been trying so hard to fix his audio. He actually left and refreshed and came back in. I'm going to try to bring him up one last time. So let's all hope that this time will be the lucky time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Success. Awesome. Totally.
Okay. Totally awesome. My question is, in the book you mentioned that you have to find the pain of your prospect.
Yes.
And then tell them how you're the aspirin for their pain. You may not have said aspirin, but
no, I did.
So
I'm pretty sure I did.
I have a very targeted niche that has a dormant pain. It's something that they dealt with a long time ago as a group, and there's a segment of it that has changed in the last few years, but now most of them are not aware or are ignoring the pain because the government agency that would give them the pain hasn't given them the pain. But if they were to experience it, it would be a world of hurt. So what I want to do is get to this group and tell them that I'm the answer to their pain, but they may not even think that it is a pain right now.
Okay, so this is great, and I'm going to answer your question. You asked a fairly generic question. It's specific, but it's generic because we don't know There's a difference between pain relief and insurance. So think of the two metaphors, right? Pain relief is, oh man, my tooth hurts. Get me the Advil, get me the aspirin, get me the cure, give me the shot, right? That's pain. What you're talking about is risk. And risk, you solve pain with medicine, and you solve risk with insurance. And insurance is a tougher sale. Anyone who actually sells insurance, real insurance, will know what I'm talking about. But for example, a workplace violence program is insurance, right? No one's been shot, no one's been killed, no one's been knifed, no one's been threatened. But hey, if that happens, wouldn't you like to have a workplace violence prevention policy, a workplace violence readiness policy? Same thing with ethics. You know, in our National Speakers Association, we have all these ethics experts. Well, if you're not being hauled into court for ethics violations, then selling ethics programs, ethics software, compliance software, all of that regulatory kind of software, that's an insurance type of sale that when it hits the fan, boy, do you want to be covered. Because when it hits the fan, it's going to be bad. So when you're selling pain, I would recommend asking diagnostic questions. When you're selling an insurance type of product or service or program, I would ask risk-based questions. And a risk-based question starts to sound like, well, what would happen if? And have you thought about if this scenario plays out? What if, you know, this dependency, what if this source of revenue stops? What if these guys change the law? What if the tax code becomes XYZ? Asking diagnostic questions is about where does it hurt, how does it hurt, how much does it hurt? Asking insurance questions is about what if, how come, why, how ready are you, how bad would it be? And you can also spin this lots of different ways. You say, well, this could come down where they totally change the law and now all of a sudden you're out of compliance, but I guess that wouldn't be a big deal, right? And they go, oh my God, no, it would change our world. We'd be dragged into court and our top officers would go to prison and blah, blah, blah. If all your data disappeared tomorrow, I mean, I guess you've got backup. I guess you've got stuff in the cloud, right? No, if our data disappeared tomorrow, screwed. We've got 10,000 customers and millions of dollars, and it's sitting under the CEO's desk on our server hasn't been upgraded since 2004. Those are the kind of questions. So think about two kinds of sales, and again, I never thought about this till you asked your brilliant question. Pain relief is, diagnostic questions is what you need for pain and a pain-based sale. And investigative risk-based questions is what you need to sell the quote-unquote insurance type of sale. Awesome question. I may even blog about that and give you credit, Mark, so thank you.
Okay, what a packed hour it has been. Thank you so much, Dave, for all your energy, excitement, and invaluable information that you've shared with everyone here today. So we're winding down now. It's actually over the amount of time that we allotted. Do you have any closing statements for the people in the crowd today, Dave?
I do. So number one, thank you for joining me. This was an experiment. She wanted to try it out. And again, if you're a speaker, expert, thought leader, professional service provider, executive, you also want to look at the Shindig platform for sharing your thought leadership and your expertise. We're going to send out the books to the fabulous people that won the books. For the folks that did not win a book, you'll get a random drawing, and there's not many. It's like 40, I think 46, 47, 50 names maybe, in the drawing for the Amazon gift card and the Starbucks gift card. And I want you to ask your question by email. So if you have a burning question, something you're working on, something that I can help with, david@doitmarketing.com. That already because we're friends and we're buddies. But david@doitmarketing.com. Email me what you're working on. I will do my best to answer your question, or we'll jump on the phone. We'll get you the answers you need to your thorny, prickly marketing questions. And thank you for joining me again today.